what I would do if I had to start all over, I would buy a multi-unit residence, 4 units, and I would rent out 3 of them and live in one of them. And after that, I would get a home equity line of credit and I would buy my next house. I would do it again until I have 10,000 properties. And that's how I'm a trillionaire. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So as you can see, we already did foundation and we are hopping straight into the makeup routine with several tips I learned from buying my first house. Now, my new house was bought in 2020 at the very end. We were all cooped up for COVID and I had nothing else to do but make some money. So I had about 83,000 extra dollars. That's really specific, but I just remember the number. And I was like, sounds like a good down payment. So I went to Vegas because I just knew I was going to get more for my money. If y'all have not seen my video with that Vegas house tour, it's like the very first video on this channel. So go all the way at the bottom. Check it out. It's a beautiful house. The reason I ended up selling is because, one, I knew Vegas was never forever. It was purely a money play. But also, I had a really hard time finding community out there, and the safety was an issue. Even in a gated community, every single day in the Facebook group, we had a Facebook group with all the neighbors. There was somebody's Ring camera, people trying to break in cars or people trying to do home invasions. Like, it was way too much going on. For that to be a nice new development side of town, it was so dangerous. And I was like, bruh, I was going to stay 2 years. That was my plan. But I could not even make it 1 year. Knowing that I'm a female who lives by herself with no help, if somebody breaks into my house, that could be really sad. The difference between living as a woman by myself here versus in Vegas, Vegas is a single family house, no shared walls. Nobody would even know. Here, it's a super gated neighborhood with 2 people right beside me. I have a townhome, so my neighbor's gonna hear, the neighbor's gonna hear. I don't have to worry about feeling alone in a big old house by myself. So as long as I'm single, I learned better to live in like a multi-unit residence for your own safety. But not just that, I'm grateful that I chose to live in my very first house, because all the gurus now on Instagram, they be like, oh, what I would do if I had to start all over, I would buy a multi-unit residence and it would be 4 units and I would rent out 3 of them and live in one of them. And then after that, I would get a home equity line of credit and I would buy my next house. Then I would do it again until I have 10,000 properties. And that's how I'm a trillionaire. Realistically, you want to live in your very first house so you can empathize with the experience of your future tenants. They're going to know your house better than you, and you don't want that to happen. You want to really be able to know your house, know all the cracks and the creaks, and oh yeah, that toilet does always break down. They're not lying. Being from tenant to landlord, that's like a really huge step where you skip the homeownership part. You're skipping that intermediary step. So I would not advise that. Baby steps, okay? Even if you just live in it for a year or 2, you can still rent it out. Not to mention there's way more financing options for your primary residence. You can go conventional, FHA. If you're a veteran, you can go VA. There's rural stuff. There's USDA loans. There's a million different types of loans. This is really the secret that most people don't understand, because most people are not thinking like business people when they buy their first home. They're thinking like, the tenant still, instead of now you are the landlord of yourself. So you still need to be thinking like a business person, because your home is not forever. You don't have to live there forever. I know some people, they tend to think that way, and so therefore they shop that way. Oh, this is my forever home. This doesn't have to be your forever home, though, even if you think it's going to be. Imagine you become a multimillionaire and now you have multiple residences. So now you have options. Most people don't think like this. They think we're going to buy one house, we're going to grow old for 40 years in that one house. We might upgrade if we have some kids, but if not, we just not going to buy a house until we can afford our dream house. That's not a good money move. You need to get in at the floor level. So that's why I bought in Vegas. Like I said, I knew I wasn't a fan of Vegas, but I also knew I could flip that house because it was new development in like the middle of a field. After just 1 year, I was able to sell that house and cash out. And that gave me enough of a down payment to get this house, which ended up costing $100,000 more. So it's perfect because I moved back to the city I wanted to move to after just 1 year. And I looked up the capital gains taxes in Nevada too. You only have to live in your house a year and a day to be able to sell it. and be exempt from capital gains taxes. So these are things you need to be thinking about as a homeowner, not, oh, I don't like the bathroom. That's the last of your concerns. Be thinking about your time. How long can you see yourself here? Are we going to flip it or are we going to rent it when we're ready to get out? So boom, I'm in there, right? I make a few improvements. I put some turf on the roof. I put all new turf and landscaping in the back. It was super beautiful. Let me show you a photo. I customized the fireplace. I customized a few other things in there, and I changed the floor from all carpet to all beautiful millennial gray vinyl wood. But not too much, just enough. And that's the point, because you're not going to stay there forever. You're basically customizing for the next buyer. So you don't want to go too much out of pocket. You want to keep it basic, but like just functional, modern. Keep in mind too, I went with new construction. So I had a home warranty, for 1 year, and everything was brand new. So the next tip I have for y'all is try not to go with, as your first home at least, a home over 30 years. Why? Because that's when stuff start breaking. Okay. You don't want a house that's 50 years old and then boom, all of a sudden your AC go out. Boom, all of a sudden you need new roofing. Now your oven don't work. Now this stopped working. Now you need new pipes. Now it's something coming out the ceiling, but you don't know what it is. As your first home, go easy on yourself. Try not to stress yourself out too much, because some people, they bite off more than they can chew. And they go, oh, I would love a fixer-upper. It's got so much character and charm. I want to make it my own. You don't want to make it your own on the first time. That's some second level stuff. That first home is purely a money play. Here's how you decide, in my opinion, whether to be a live-in flip or do I do something along the lines of staying and then renting it out when I'm ready to move up. It really depends on your own goals. How long you want to stay in that city? When is your income going up? Do you have expanding family situation? But the biggest thing I would say is, what does the supply and demand of the real estate market look like? In a place like Vegas, they're just going to keep building more homes because it's an open field. Are they building and building and building? That means there's more supply than demand. You want to flip that and get the hell out. Because why would a renter, in theory, if they could qualify to buy a home, why would I rent your spot? I could just build the same thing and have a cheaper mortgage, and get in for 3%. And if I'm a veteran, and get in for nothing. So you have those situations a lot. And that's why people can't sell their homes in Vegas, because you have too much supply, not enough demand. But in a place like California, this is a place where the real estate market stays hot all year round, no matter what kind of economy is. There's more people here than there is housing. So now you have more demand than you have supply. This is somewhere you don't want to flip. You don't want to give up. You have a great asset when you have something that everybody wants. So let's stay there and then rent it out. So that's the plan for this house. And we're currently trying to figure out where we're going next, because I can't bring the cats to Bali. So where can we take the cats after LA? Now, I know some people feel really uncertain about the time, so they just talk themselves out of buying a home. They go, oh, well, home ownership isn't for me. But don't feel that way. If you have a good realtor, that realtor should be able to walk you through everything you need with ease. They should even be able to help with your pre-qual. So, I was going to go down a different ramp, but let's talk about that real quick. Because there's so many different realtors, people go with like, oh, well, my cousin, because I want to support them. Don't just go with your cousin because you want to support them. You need to go with a realtor who not only has knowledge of the area you want to live in, but in your particular situation as well. Or if you're doing a short sale, you need to get a realtor who's worked with other clients like that before, because they're going to be a lot more insightful. After all, you're paying a fee to them for a reason. This is your one-stop shop. Your realtor should be your one-stop shop for your home. And that's why you pay them. Some people go, oh, I can buy a house and sell a house without a realtor, but then you end up having all these issues. You also need somebody who knows the contracts, or, make addendums, negotiate on your behalf. People are literally so bad at negotiating at their freaking vacation in Mexico. What makes you think you're going to get the best deal if you don't have proper representation buying a house? So having a knowledgeable realtor is half the home buying experience. I look at it, at least, like we're building wealth. So it's like your savings account, because no matter what, you're going to gain equity over time. The longer you stay there, the more the value will increase. So you're literally living in your savings account. It's better than having any other form of savings. And it's very stable because they're not making no more land. They might build more property in Nevada, but they're not making no more land. The first thing is, before you start investing, what do? You learn to save. That's why I don't trust the gurus that be like, oh, if I was, starting over, my very first thing, I would buy a 4-unit apartment building. No, because you don't run before you crawl. You never learn to invest before you learn to save. You learn to save first. So what are we going to do? We're going to live in our savings account. So then we can put a tenant in there. You know, if we see fit that there's more demand to our property than supply of properties, we throw a tenant in there. Now you're not living in your savings account anymore. You're actually having someone else live in your investment account. I decided last minute we're actually going to go with Wealthy again. I'm sorry, I know we did a video using Wealthy, but it's just such a beautiful color. We have to look at her. It's like this beautiful little green, olive, gold color. So amazing. I just want to look like a superstar every day of my life. And this palette is going to help me do it. Which, by the way, if y'all did not know, I actually am registered as a realtor here in the state of California. So these tips are coming from somebody who's been on both ends of the table. And if you need help locating a home in California, I'd be more than happy to help you. Now, my second home, let's talk about it. My second home was one that was exactly 41 years old when I bought it, which is this one. If you do a 1035 exchange, this is for the people that you already are privy to buying your first home. Maybe you want to upgrade to your second home. So what do? You want to get out of paying capital gains. You do a 1035 exchange. So the rules are it must be equal or greater value. So mine was about 100,000 more. And that's why I didn't have to pay no taxes. One thing you want to keep in mind, if it's 40 years old, stuff gonna start having to be replaced. I spent $10,000 on the AC, $14,000 on new floors, several thousands of dollars fixing other things that just were broken when I got here. Imagine coming to the valley in California where temperatures get 110 degrees in the summertime and there's no AC. How were the people living here before? I don't know. It's not my problem. I went in knowing that there was going to have to be some out-of-pocket expenses. So I was not overwhelmed because in the last place, remember, I did the floors. I did landscaping. So I got a little bit of practice. Imagine if I moved in with no practice and no AC. I'm gonna go over my eyebrows real quick because they're driving me mad. Let's put on a little bit of blush though. Let's bring the rest of the face together before we start making revisions. My final tip is really to save extra money for property taxes. So if I were you guys, I would factor in the cost, the approximate annual cost, and then break it down into 12 and then either set that money aside or like just pretend as if you're paying it monthly. You cannot get in trouble with that because you get in trouble now that your stuff goes delinquent, then your stuff goes to auction, you know, after a while. Obviously, they put a lien on your property. They give you time to pay it off. Now you're going to have to start making deals with people. You don't want to do that. Keep on top of your taxes. Okay, I have to leave in like 10 minutes. So I'm going to do some of my makeup off camera real quick. Okay, I did go ahead and do the rest of my makeup and change into my outfit. You guys let me know down in the comments if you have not bought a home yet. As a first-time home buyer, which point raised your attention the most? This is the top. It's from Aritzia. I love it so much. It is a thong bodysuit though, so just know if you don't like thongs, this won't work for you. It has a really high quality material, and this pleated dress is also from Aritzia. It makes me feel so feminine. I love wearing it. Let me see if I can get a different angle for you guys. Okay, so this is the bottom of the dress. As you can see, it has like a little bit of a wrap situation. And then these shoes I got from Aldo, or is it Steve Madden? One of those. They're probably owned by the same company. All right, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.